Coming up in the news tonight, work to begin on phase 2 of affordable housing units at Buduburam.
Estimated 3 to 4 million people facing hunger in Zimbabwe due to drought.
And in sports, Kumasi Asante Kotoko beat Accra Hearts of Oak by 1-0 in the ongoing Premier League.
Hello, good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. This is News Hour live on your all news channel, GBC24 and GTV. My name is Akbene Avo Ajaja.
And my name is Selike Makola Chapalu. Pleasure to have you join us. Now the details. The government will soon enact a Real Estate Licensing Act to introduce a high degree of integrity and probity into the real estate industry.
The Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing, Dr. Coca Cola, announced this when he cut the sod for work to begin on phase 2 of the affordable housing unit at Buduburam in the central region.
Statistics indicates that the housing deficit in the country is close to 1.7 million. In recent years, the real estate sector has experienced an increased growth, which government believes could impact positively on the economy. Hence, the need for government to consider enacting the Real Estate Licensing Act that would introduce some degree of integrity and probity into the real estate industry. The Minister of Water Resources, Works and Housing, Dr. Kweku Ajiman-Mensah, cut the sod for work to begin on an affordable real estate project at Buduburam. He urged estate developers to be efficient in their dealings. The Executive Secretary of GREDA, Mr. Samuel Amagaivo, called on estate developers and clients to adopt best practices that would improve competition in the industry.
Let's take that responsibility fully and deliver houses quality and on time as well, so that the public confidence will grow up and that the sector can also flourish, because people will then have the confidence that if I pay my money to developer B and says that in 15 months I'll have a house, you have the house.
Still in the region, the board chairman of the Central Regional Coastal Waste Management, Professor Edward Mafu Iadom, has called for more sustainable waste management systems that will help the country improve on sanitation. He says statistics available indicate that sanitation coverage in Ghana is just 15%, a situation that calls for all hands on deck to deal with the problem. Professor Mafu Iadom made the call at the launch of Zoomlion's 10th anniversary at Cape Coast.
Ghana is among nations in the West Africa sub-region that could not meet the MDG goals on sanitation. This situation has become a source of worry for government and civil society groups. The unsanitary conditions in the country have led to the outbreak of diseases including cholera, which claims hundreds of lives. It is against this backdrop that Zoomlion Waste Management Company is initiating numerous interventions to help curb the unsanitary condition. The Central Regional General Manager of Zoomlion, Ernest Kusi, noted that the company, in collaboration with the MMDAs, are finding ways of mitigating the sanitation challenge. The chairman of the Central Regional Coastal Waste Management, Professor Edward Mafu Iadom, commended Zoomlion for the successes chalked in waste management.
Let's move to the eastern region now. Lack of potable water and electricity is making life unbearable in Abenewia, Mankrado and Atreso. The communities which are in the Ikuapim North municipality of the eastern region are also grappling with bad roads and poor infrastructure. They are therefore appealing to the government for assistance.
Abenewia, a farming community in the Ikuapim North municipality, has a population of over 1,000. Farmers in the area grow mainly cassava, yam and cocoyam. Cassava dough is produced here on a large scale. Each day, children in this village go and fetch water from a borehole to bath and then go to school. At the same time, their parents also prepare to go to the farm. The news team witnessed this routine on a Thursday as early as 6:38 a.m. Water is not easily accessible in these communities. They also lack classroom blocks and a good road network. A farmer in the community, Mr. Frederick Obiao, appealed to the government to provide them with social amenities.
We
do not have water, good road network, and classroom blocks in this community. We are therefore appealing to the government to come to our aid.
Abunewia Community Early Childhood Development Center, a private school established over 10 years ago, saves most children in the community from walking about 3 miles to a government school. The school currently has a population of 115 pupils. They were writing their second term exams at the time GBC24 got there.
Subtract the following numbers. Question number 6. How many days? 68 minus.
The headmaster of Abunewia Community Early Childhood Development Center, Mr. Aite Mensah, spoke about the challenges facing the school.
School is facing a lot of problems. Learning materials like textbooks, chalks, desks where the student is going to sit on. We have from class 1 to classes. Now the clutch KG is in.
The nursery and kindergarten teacher of the school, Ms. Maria Mensah, also appealed to the government to provide them with teaching aids.
Our building is not enough. Joint class, and also especially their books that they use, their textbooks, the materials we use to teach them the things. We don't get it. We are here just to help the children, and so we just need some materials to help them with it.
The laboratory facility in the school needs a facelift. Another community GBC24 visited was Otariso. This farming community has a population of over 500. They lack electricity, classroom block, water and good road network. An opinion leader in the Otariso community, Mr. Jones Avademe, appealed to the government to provide them with electricity and other social amenities. He said living condition in the area is becoming unbearable.
They don't get light to learn, and then we have students here walking here about 30 kilometers from here to Asasikoko, Kwamoso, the Veme, Chanua, and so on. So we are appealing the government to come to our aid.
The area does not have a school, and most children have to walk long distances to access school in another community. Alfred Helflid, a JHS Form 3 pupil who lives at Asasekoko, is one of such children.
We are begging the government to get us light. When we come back from school, we don't get light to revise our notes.
In a drive to help their children to acquire education, the opinion leaders in the area have created a shelter and hired the services of a young lady, Rejoice Yaira Aflo, to teach their children. She is paid 90 Ghana cedis a month. She spoke about challenges confronting the school.
We don't have school building. When it is raining, it beats us in the classroom. And secondly, we don't have electricity in our community. So we face it difficult for the children in the evening time to teach them. We are facing so many problems. Even drinking water, we don't have it.
An opinion leader also spoke about efforts they are putting in to finance the education of the children.
How we manage to pay the school fees for the one who is teaching the kiddies. We 6 members contribute every month for a token fee for the one who is teaching the children.
One of the means of transport in the village is motorcycle, otherwise called Okada. Children in this area go to school by Okada. Gabriel Avademe is an Okada rider who has been in the business for some time now. He spoke about the difficulty they face from police personnel in the area.
The police are chasing us and catch us to send to Kufuridia Garawi. So if you go there, they will collect money from us before they release the motor for us. So we need government to help us.
I'll take you back to the Central Region for a special report. Asimfoso is located in the region and is one of the communities with a rich historical background. The community, which was founded in the 17th century, is a major contributor to Ghana's food basket. And in this report, GBC24 puts the spotlight on Asin Fosu.
This is Asin Fosu, the municipal capital of Asin Central and Asin North in the Central region. As of 2014, the population was about 22,837. Tutu is their festival. Akrofrim, Trafo, Bantama, Techiman, Danche, Abesiwa, Butuase, Equiapum, and Ahebronoso are some of the communities that make up the municipality. Most communities in the central region speak Fante, but Akan is the main dialect of the people of Fosu. Asin Fosu, like the Fantes, have fragmentary and incoherent history, unlike the Ashantis, whose history is consistent, systematic, and comprehensive. The people migrated from Adanse in the Ashanti region, moved from place to place, and finally settled at their present location at Asin Fosu. History also has it that the migratory process saw the people forming an alliance with the Konsontre people, led by Nana Siedu Munko at Asin Juaso. This was after the Futu Akwa warriors liberated the Juaso people after the beheading of their chief Nana Siedu Munko, rendering his people vulnerable and helpless. The Konsontre people were delighted, and to show their appreciation, the people of Ifutuakwa were given a piece of land to settle there. The chief of Konsontre said, Monfa Musu Unko, which later became Fawusu Ko, meaning go with your good character and bravery. This later was corrupted to Fusu. Ifutuakwa was metamorphosed to become Yemfutukwa, meaning they gained from mixing up. An elder of Ifutuakwaman, Ochiame Kweku Tibu, explains further.
Better nananum batu nananum Juaso de Camphon, and no trying a craft. Inti a bar said, you know, Treviano, when you are Cascasa cranny soon, and you can ask him to see come. Monsieur, my idea. Into Monfa Musuna, a dear papa and boy chairman, Monfa Sante when Nimha, Monco Nimho, Mosumco Dramcotna. So, young face, sooner at the papa and a bear chair and a Juaso de Camphon, young family. Yen Asin in Fisu, Amra, in Fusu.
An elder of Asin Fosu, Ochiame Kweku Dakon, also had this to say about how his people arrived at their present location.
Asin Fosu for a Kayedin Pa a fray a satiri for no, if you come Samokum, na a satiri for so na was antene. Na Kunkwakumunimuno, the two frio, eba Bobriase. If you Bobriasano, the bar dance meranang. He
added that the town was very popular in the colonial days because they were warriors, but their popularity came down after the wars. However, in the 1980s, it picked up again when a football team known as Soccer Missionaries excelled into the first division. The Krontehene of Ifutuakwaman, Nanatre Martin Krompe, said Asin Fosu came into existence just about the same time as Akimodan, Aguna Swedru, but in terms of development, Asin Fosu is lagging behind compared to its compatriots.
The status of the immigration, which serves the whole of West Africa, a road which links such an institution should not be forgotten in terms of infrastructure.
The municipal chief executive of Asin North, Dr. Kofi Blankson, says the population of the community has increased, hence the need to upgrade the infrastructure, including roads.
Every municipality should have some befitting status. For example, when you talk about roads in the town, it must have a status. Here we are in Fosu, we don't have stuff like that.
The late Professor Briye Bua, known in private life as Emisa Edu, once served as Deputy Speaker of Parliament during the Second Republic, is a native of Asin Fosu. He was also the Omahene of Ifutuakwa traditional area. Asin Fosu can boast of a booming market, hospital, training college, and play host to the only immigration training center in Ghana.
Back in the national capital, a book, Jesus is Closer to You Than You Think, has been launched in Accra. The book is based on the life and challenging personal experience of a banker. The author, Mrs. Andrietta Abebrese Tete, said her decision to write is based on her desire to reach out to people who are experiencing similar challenges and how they can handle such situations.
The book, Jesus is Closer to You Than You Think, is an inspirational book of a banker's encounter with Christ during her trials. Drawing inspiration from Matthew 14:22 to 33, the author, Mrs. Andrietta Abebrese Tete, was able to overcome the storm of miscarriage, unstable job, and found peace to maintain her home as a wife. The 114-page book is targeted at people at their wits' end.
Came to a point in time where I thought God was very far from me. But that passage, Matthew 14, verse 21 to 33, ministered a lot to me when I got that insight that Jesus was just an arm's length from Peter when he told him to save him from the waters. It just dawned on me that Jesus was so close to Peter, and that whatever I was going through at the moment, Jesus was aware, and he was with me, and he was closer to me than I actually thought. And when I heard that word, peace flooded my heart. I became at peace with myself. And right after that, every stone I was going through ceased.
The first copy of the book was sold at 4,000 Ghana cedis.
You're watching the news live on GBC24 and GTV.
We'll take a quick break. We will be right back. To stay.
Welcome back to the news. Let's talk business now. The Deputy Prime Minister of St. Vincent, Sir Louis Straka, says he regrets encouraging his country to sign the Economic Partnership Agreement EPA with the European Union EU. St. Vincent, an island in the Caribbean, ratified the EPA 6 years ago, but Sir Straka said his country is yet to reap the fruit of the trade pact. His comment comes on the heels of a statement made by the former president of Nigeria, General Olusegun Obasanjo, who described the EPA as a disincentive to trade development in Africa. Edward Nyaku interviewed General Obasanjo and Sir Straka on the sidelines of the African, Caribbean and Pacific Countries Conference held in Dakar, Senegal.
Trade ties between the ACP and the EU, which is based on the Cotonou Agreement, will end in 2020. But both parties are working hard to ensure that a new framework is put in place before 2020. For a decade now, the main menu on the table of these two groups is the Economic Partnership Agreement, EPA. While the EU argues that it is the best cuisine she can offer her partners in the ACP group, critics point to the fact that it is a dish that might cause some upset in the timing of the economies of the ACP nations. To them, the opening of market access to the EU without tariff is a disincentive, but the EU says the ACP countries need to lift up their game and take advantage of its huge market. It's been back and forth discussion, but the Caribbean signed a trade deal 6 years ago. But on hindsight, the Deputy Prime Minister of St. Vincent, an island in the Caribbean, Sir Louis Straka, said though his country has ratified the EPA, the desired result is yet to be seen.
It would be helpful if we can get more in terms of the services. In terms of the produce, no. We are not very competitive in terms of the produce that would be sold on the European market, because our labor cost is much higher than the various other countries that are producing the same thing. But it has not been that helpful to us.
But if it was not going to be helpful, why did you sign?
Well, we had no choice. The European Union held a gun to our head and said you must sign. If we didn't sign, they are moving to Africa. That's where their focus would be. Africa is a bigger market, and they did not want to wait on us. So we thought we would go ahead and sign it. We signed it maybe about 6 years ago. But we had no choice really, because it put a lot of pressure on us.
Nigeria has the biggest market and economy in Africa. By its former president, General Olusegun Obasanjo, says the EPA will not benefit the continent.
I don't believe that EPA is in the best interest of Africa. That's my position, personal.
Kenya is a big player in the East African market, but says at the regional level, there is an agreement to give 82.6% of the market to the EU. However, the details are being worked out by Parliament in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Burundi, Rwanda, and new entrants South Sudan.
We are still negotiating because for us to commit ourselves, we have to make sure that whatever commitment that we are going to make, whatever agreement that we are going to send to the country is actually for our own interest.
Mr. Saitoti said Kenya would like to have the October deadline pushed forward. However, the Foreign Minister of Kenya, Amina Mohamed, said the first October deadline will be met.
We are at a point where we are ready to sign the agreement. We hope that by October, the last steps would have been taken, and we will be in a position, right, to have not only signed and ratified it, but that in October it will actually come into force.
She described the EPA as the best for her country and will push to derive the maximum benefits.
The countries in our sub-region who have the EU as their main export market, right? It's critical that we conclude this process. It's really critical. Without it, right, it will actually not be possible to do what we're doing now, and it will be completely and totally impossible to industrialize.
From the Kenyan minister, the next player on our interview schedule was the Deputy Southern African Minister of International Relations and Cooperation, Mr. Llewellyn Landers. Though Mr. Landers was reluctant to reveal the extent to which Africa's second biggest economy is going to open up its market to the EU, he was happy that the final agreement will be signed in June this year.
The European Union is a considerable market, and any country that can have access to that market should grab it with both hands. But it doesn't mean that once you've done that and you've granted access, that you can sit back and say, well, the money will just flow in. Countries must constantly look for alternative markets.
Ghana has initiated the EP in 2014 to give 80% of access of a market to the EU and in return have 100% of access to the EU market. ECOWAS, the regional bloc, on the other hand, negotiated with the EU and agreed on the principle of progressive opening of the market up to 75% staggered over 20 years. But according to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madame Hannah Tete, Ghana's position has changed and it is now in sync with that of ECOWAS.
For example, when you take a company like Pioneer Food Cannery, Pioneer Food Cannery has over 1,200 workers. Pioneer Food Cannery, like most major businesses, outsources a lot of its non-core functions. And so what happens is that there's a different company that provides bus services for those 1,200 employees to come to work every day. And that's over 10 60-seater buses. If Pioneer Food Company shuts down because it no longer is able to export competitively, that company also loses its business.
The Secretary General of the ACP Group, Dr. Patrick Ignatius Gomez, said trade between the group and the EU as of 2015 stood at 180 billion euros. However, the volume of trade between ACP countries is very low. For instance, Ghana sends less than 3% of her exports to Benin as against 40% to the EU.
For now, the immediate short-term attention has to be making the best out of the Economic Partnership Agreement.
Papua New Guinea is in the Pacific and it's the world-leading producer of tuna. She will play host to the 8th Heads of State Summit of the ACP Group at the end of May 2016, and their Foreign Minister, Mr. Ribink Pato, gave thumbs up to the EPA.
We'd rather have a permanent economic partnership agreement with the European Union on fisheries, because that's a substantial resource in our country. But as it is, there remains challenges and we're working through them, and that is why we want to ensure that Papua New Guinea is not standing alone. Fiji doesn't stand alone, but we want to be inclusive.
Under the EPA, the first wave of liberalization of import duties will occur from the first year to the 6th year following the agreement. Also, the EU will support members of ECOWAS, including Ghana, with about 6.5 billion euros to help them improve upon the competitiveness of member states. These assistance should have been released in 2015, but the funds have been withheld by the EU because Nigeria is not forthcoming as expected. Critics say the stance of Nigeria is affecting the rest of the countries in the ECOWAS bloc, because if the 6.5 billion euros is shared equally, each country, including Ghana, could have boosted Haiti with 430 million euros to prepare towards the take-off of the EPA. But those who support the stance of Nigeria, like General Olusegun Obasanjo, contend that the EPA will not help in boosting trade. Africa does not have the infrastructure to compete with companies from the EU on equal footing. Rather, the focus should be on intra-African trade. Edward Nyakum, reporting from Dakar, Senegal.
And back in the country, Coca Cola Company has launched a new market strategy to position itself in the global creative campaign. The marketing strategy, which took place in Accra for the first time, has introduced 2 different kinds of Coca-Cola onto the market. These are Coca-Cola Light or Diet, or Coca-Cola Zero, under the iconic name Taste the Feeling.
The company is using this new global marketing strategy campaign under the iconic name Taste the Feeling, and uses a universal storytelling and everyday moments to connect with consumers around the world. The strategy also underscores the company's commitment to choice, allowing consumers to choose whichever Coca-Cola suits their taste, lifestyle and diet. The campaign, Taste the Feeling, which started on the 1st of May this year by the Coca-Cola Bottling Company Ghana, will come to life through a number of elements. These include 4 television commercials and 30-plus campaign images. The rest are new visual identity system, new music anthem, and audio signature, plus shareable and customized digital experience. The Territory Market Activation Manager of Coca Equatorial Africa, Philip Bwedu Issa, threw more light on the new market strategy.
The communication idea that has driven this campaign is the fact that we are combining product truths and brand values that would come together and has created a core creative idea. So when we say product truths, what we simply mean is the product, as we know, Coca-Cola, is very delicious, refreshing, and uplifting.
The country's manager, Coca Equatorial Africa, Wadrig Bila, explained what the company wanted to achieve through this global market strategy.
Coca-Cola doesn't belong to the family anymore. It belongs to you. It belongs to the millions, I would say the billions of consumers around the world. We want to put together the brand value, but also the product benefit together as one. And all our communication will put back the product in the center stage of any material that we have.
Africa accounts for 10% of Coca-Cola's revenue and volume, and the company hopes to double its production within the next 6 years.
On the first trading day of the new month, the cedi is selling at 5 cedis 54 pesos against the pound sterling and 3 cedis 79 pesos against the dollar. Up next is the market board. Crude oil dipped by 3 pesos to trade at 45 cedis 89 pesos. Cocoa and gold, on the other hand, appreciated by 32 pesos and 10 cedis 50 pesos respectively. Coming up shortly is the insurance news segment brought to you by SIC Live. The lack of financial literacy has been described as one of the key factors that has contributed to the low levels of insurance penetration in Ghana. Currently, Ghana's insurance penetration stands below 2%, and it's considered to be one of the lowest on the African continent. The Group Chief Executive of Old Mutual Ghana, Chris Kapanga, says the antidote to this problem lies in intensifying education.
Despite the steady growth of the insurance industry in Ghana, the industry is nowhere near its potential. Insurance penetration in Ghana as a percentage of GDP is growing at a slower pace against the expectations of financial experts. As at June 2015, commercial banks in Ghana owned 75% of the assets in the financial sector, while insurance companies owned just 5%. According to the African Insurance Organization report in 2014, measured as a percentage of GDP, insurance penetration still remains below 2% after hovering around 1.5% for many years, while South Africa, Namibia, Mauritius and Kenya have penetration rates of 14.5%, 7.5%, 5.7% and 3.17%. The Group Chief Executive of Old Mutual Ghana, Chris Kapanga, says the country needs to increase education to raise awareness about insurance to the population.
One critical issue that we have identified, which we are already addressing, is financial education. People need to be financially educated so that they understand why they need to buy insurance, why they need to save, for the day when they will not have money. So, in order to do that, we as Old Mutual have actually got mobile vans. I'm sure you've seen them driving around Accra. We park these vans and we do financial education in the vernacular language. And our people are there on the van and giving out free education on how you need to save your money, how you need to look after your children for their future education, because we offer products that do that. And this is one key area for us to increase the penetration. We do need people to be financially educated and to appreciate that they need, when they have a good time, when they are making money, they need to reserve some for the future, because that's what insurance is all about. Don't spend everything now. Put some aside.
On the outlook, the Ghana Insurance Commission hopes to achieve a 3% insurance penetration rate against the current rate of 1.5%.
And that's it for business. We'll be back shortly with the health segment.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the holiday edition of the health segment. My name is Evan Sechampon. Father Andrew Campbell, a lifelong patron and chairman of the management board of the Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital, has reiterated his appeal to the public to support the expansion drive of the hospital. A 3-story block intended to house the laboratory, pharmacy and x-ray departments is estimated at $600,000. Father Campbell made the appeal when he led some staff of the hospital on a health walk as part of activities to mark the 19th anniversary of the hospital. A report by Sarah Ofori.
The Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital was previously known as the Kwashiorkor Hospital because it only attended to malnourished children. Today, thousands of children up to 18 years walk in for treatment without referral, mainly from Kokomba, Agbogloshi, Sodom and Gomorrah, other vicinities, other Kolewoko, Akotolante, among others. It has an outpatient department, emergency care units, runs sickle cell, neurological, asthma, dental, ear, nose and throat, as well as eye clinics. It also has a reproductive and child health, nutrition, as well as family planning units. Although the health walk is part of activities marking the 90th anniversary, it was also a moment to exercise their limbs and burn calories. With about 50 members of staff and a team from the Dansoman Cape Fits Club, the entourage made their way through Makola Sanitation, through the High Street to the Independence Square, and returned through the Judicial Service, the Ghana Health Services, to the Central Business District, Kolewoko, and back to the hospital. The walk lasted 1 hour, 45 minutes. Led by the national gym instructor, who likes to refer to himself as Coach Jomo, the participants were taken through an aerobic session.
Stretching the same direction with me. Let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 8, 7.
Addressing those gathered, Father Andrew Campbell was hopeful that the public will support the intended expansion project of the hospital.
We have to look forward and build on the past. And we know that so many children coming here for care that the facilities are too small. So we want to build for our 90th anniversary a new block behind me on the left. A block for the pharmacy, for the laboratory, and for the X-ray unit. And that's why on the 27th of May at British Council Hall, we'll have our fundraising. So we want all of you to come and support us on that day, that the Lord indeed will bless us with good benefactors to help us with our 90th anniversary project. It's a big project, 3 stories. It'll cost over $600,000 to build. But with God, everything is possible.
Medical Superintendent of the hospital, Dr. Eric Sifa, appealed to the Health Minister, Mr. Alex Segbefia, to make good his promise of allocating 4 more doctors to the facility. GBC24 sought the views of participants on how beneficial the work has been.
During the work, you have any problem with your joints, it's there that it comes out. If you are lifting your hand and you realize that, hey, not knowing there's a pain in the shoulder, it's only when you are doing exercise that you realize it. Then you know what to do.
You know, as health workers, we are always busy. The workload is overwhelming. So we don't get time to exercise. We come, sit around, and then we go back sleep because we are so tired. We don't even think of our health.
I usually work for 30 minutes a day, but today I work for 45 long minutes. That, which I believe is good for our health.
For those of us who are not regular exercisers, it's been very beneficial. It's made us realize that we can actually do it if we gather ourselves.
I was feeling very feverish and I felt as though I was coming down with a cold, but I was still determined to walk. And I'm not kidding you, I feel so much better.
Pediatrician Dr. Feboama Mensah explained the essence of taking in lots of water and fruits right after exercising.
Exercise is good. In fact, it rejuvenates the body and it makes you feel better, both physically and mentally. Eating fruits immediately after exercise will help us to replace the fluid that we lost and some of the minerals that we lose from sweating, yes. So eating fruits would be beneficial in that regard, just to replenish the liquid and the minerals that we lose as a result of the exercise.
The 90th anniversary of the Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital comes off in June this year, prior to which a fundraising dinner will be held later this month. Sarah Furi, GBC24, Princess Marie Louise Children's Hospital, Accra.
And that's all we have for you by way of health segment tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with some more news. Stay tuned.
Thanks for staying with us. In the international news, a coalition of opponents of the DRC President Joseph Kabila announced on Sunday former regional governor Moise Katumbi as their joint opposition candidate for presidential elections due before the end of the year. Democratic Republic of Congo authorities are under pressure from the international community to to hold the polls as planned in November before Kabila's second and constitutionally last mandate ends. The southern last month, police in the southeast of the country fired tear gas to break up a demonstration by 5,000 people in the latest unrest triggered by fears that Kabila plans to extend his rule to a third term. Katumbi, a former regional governor in southeastern Katanga, has called for a credible presidential election to be held in November 2016, which will end Kabila's second term in strict respect of the constitution. The number of people facing hunger in Zimbabwe due to drought has risen from 3 to 4 million, according to UN estimates. The UN Children's Agency, UNICEF, says the country is experiencing the worst drought in 2 decades, induced by a powerful effect from the El Nino. Earlier this year, UNICEF warned that malnutrition was taking hold with nearly 1 million children in eastern and southern eastern Africa in need of treatment for acute malnutrition. Water is also scarce in Zimbabwe. Women and the main caregivers in families have to walk for long distances in search of supplies. Drought and low mineral commodity prices taking their toll on the economy. The government has issued licenses to private millers to import grain, while organizations such as the United Nations World Food Programme are feeding 1 million people. Earlier this year, Zimbabwe's government declared a state of national disaster and appealed for 1.4 billion euros in food aid. That'll be all in the international news segment. Do stay with us.
In sports this evening, Hearts of Oak goalkeeper Suleiman Abdullah gifted Asante Kotoko a priceless 3-point in their match day 10 encounter in the ongoing Ghana Premier League. Suleiman scored an own goal and got sent off as Hearts lost by a 1-0 at home. Here are some highlights.
Kofi gets the ball to goalkeeper Sulama. And Sulama, an own goal! Oh! This is unpardonable! What a goal here! And they've been punished. This was a long control. And the ball rolled into his goalpost. Look at Sulama once again with a kick. Oh, this is horrendous. Awful. Schoolboy error from Sulama Abdullah, the Burkinabe international. He's let them big time, let down his team, and tears streaming down the face of a dedicated man between the stakes. How can he recover? This is absolutely unpardonable, Sulama Abdullah.
Can't believe it. He doesn't understand what happened to me. What was I thinking?
Also in sport, the Ghana Police ladies football team picked their first 3 points in the ongoing National Women's Football League. They beat Samaria ladies by 2-1.
The National Women's Football League entered match day 3 at the various league centers across the country. At the police park in Accra, the police ladies welcomed the new entrants Samaria ladies. Police in the blue and white jersey were looking to pick their first home win after playing a goalless draw match day 1 at home and losing away on match day 2. Samaria ladies, on the other hand, also played a 1-1 draw on match day 1 and lost on match day 2. Both sides were looking for their first win. The two sides created decent chances in the first half but could not score. Back from the break, the tempo of the game changed as police pushed for the opener. Referee Eugenia Asiguri whistled for a free kick in the penalty area of Samaria ladies. Police striker Josephine Boateng unleashed a thunderbolt and scored. Samaria ladies' defense were caught napping as Josephine again nodded home the second goal through a corner kick. Drama unfolded in the dying embers of the game. Samaria ladies had a free kick outside the penalty area. Captain of the side, Tutua Mary, scored. With seconds to end the game, Samaria again had a free kick at similar position. They missed the post by inches. The encounter ended 2 goals to 1 in favor of the police ladies. Here are some reactions from the coaches and players.
We prepared very well for this match, but only that, our game plan did not work effectively. We would have even scored more than that. No, we are the oldies. We have the experience. We beat them by experience.
We have 3 things in football: lose, draw, or win. And we are here for a win, but it couldn't happen like. And the first half, we were doing our best. We were dominating the game. But the second half, my team was down, and there were lots of concentration.
Very, very happy because we have been playing this match, but it's like everything is tough for us. But today, we are happy because we have won our first match.
It was normal, just that some of our players are injured. That's why we lost this match. But we are going to start another preparation for next game. Yeah, we are going to win against Halifax. That one, we promise, we are going to win that game.
Police ladies will next play Immigration at the Work Sports Stadium on Sunday, while Samaria ladies welcome Halifax ladies on Saturday.
The Accra Polo Club squash team have won this year's Nana Iwa Dakwampe Memorial Squash Championship played at the Accra Polo grounds. They beat the Coca Cola team in the finals.
Squash is a racket sport played by 2 individuals or 4 players in a 4-walled court with a small hollow rubber ball. The players must alternate in striking the ball with their rackets and hit the ball onto the playable surfaces of the 4 walls of the court. In Ghana, it used to be one of the most popular sports in the country in the late 70s, but has gradually declined due to the non-participation by the youth. In a bid to revive the sports in the country, a championship dubbed the Nana Iwada Kwampi Memorial Squash Tournament has been held. It was on the theme Sound Mind and Sound Body. The organizers said the competition was to honor the memory of Nana Iwada Kwampi I, a former chairman of Ghana Squash Association. The final was a clash between the Accra Polo Club squash team and the Cocoa Board team. Accra Polo Club won. Players were decorated with medals and trophies. They also had some tokens in addition. The founder of the United Pension Trustees Limited, Mr. Harold Iwadako Jr., was happy at the turn-up.
Nana was a very avid believer in keeping fit. One of his saying was a sound mind in a sound body. So the idea of being here is to play squash in his memory, but also encourage a healthy lifestyle, which includes sports. So this is what we are promoting here today.
Some players shared their experience.
We are promising that we shall retaliate the next time round, and so we are looking forward to a very healthy rivalry between the 2 clubs.
Now that I've realized my luck is here, I'll tell all my people at the club, the Tesano Club, so that we can, host you, then we play together.
The organizers say the youth should take the game of squash seriously in order to sustain it.
And that was sports. We'll be back shortly with entertainment.
In entertainment and arts, the Liberated Souls Ministry, Teshi, have won this year's Save the Last Dance for Jesus competition organized by the Youth Link Ghana in Accra. This year's event was aimed at raising funds to support the Senior Correctional Center, also known as the Boston Home at Roman Ridge here in Accra.
Youth Link Ghana is a non-profit organization that targets children between the ages of 5 to 15 in schools and churches. The primary aim of the organization is to harness the talents of children through knowledge and skills acquisition. Apart from the discovery of talents, the organization also raises funds to support the poor and the vulnerable every year. Upgrading the Senior Correctional Center at Roman Ridge in Accra was high on the calendar of Youth Link. The CEO of YouthLink Ghana, Mr. Kaka Opoku-Ejakwa, said the funds will be used to build an ICT center, a counseling unit, and pay for the school fees of beneficiaries. 15 churches took the stage to perform choreography to support their project.
Sometimes I try to do my best to move on. I pray every night and day, and so me trip on.
The Ghana Police Church took 3rd place, the Action Chapel at Caprice took 2nd place, and the Liberated Souls Ministry at Tishin came first and also took home the Best Choreography Teacher Award. The most well-behaved church also went to the ICGC Faith Temple Church. All the churches were given a certificate for their participation. The donation to the Senior Correctional Center will be done on the 25th of May this year.
Thank you, Thomas, and many thanks for staying to the news bulletin with us.